I always think about using one voice
Mm.
and that my voice can adapt to different styles and genres. I always think with any piece that the words are so important, whether it be musical theatre or classical, so they are a real main focus for me. I think one of the main differences is in musical theatre we can use a lot more speech quality.
Okay.
We're more about long lines, legato, beautiful sound.
Good morning,
Lovely.
Sophie. It's so great to meet you here on Zoom.
It's lovely to meet you too. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you, where are you based at the moment?
So I'm mainly based in Manchester, but I'm actually in a hotel room in Derby because I was singing there last night. But,
Wonderful.
Yeah, I've got another show later today, but in Manchester, so I'll be heading back there soon.
Oh, okay. So it's a busy time for you at the moment.
Yeah, very busy. I'm touring with London Concertante, which are an amazing orchestra, and I do their West End musical show.
Wonderful. And do you like singing West End musical songs?
Yes, it's really nice because there's a real selection of styles. You have West Side Story, Leonard Bernstein, so quite classical still, and Oklahoma, Rodgers and Hammerstein, all the way to You Will Be Found from Dear Evan Hansen, so completely different.
Wonderful. Oh, I love these songs, and especially West Side Story. That's my favorite musical of all times.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So tell me about your training. Let's start. Where did your love for music start? And I mean, when did you start singing? At what age?
So the story was my mum noticed when I was little, I always used to sing around the house from about age 3, so very, very young. And she always used to say, my brother and sister would sing, and she'd think, oh, that's okay, well done. But she said she noticed, my poor brother and sister. She said, when I sing, she'd think, oh, that's quite nice. And she didn't say anything to anyone. And then when I started school one day, so I was 4, the teacher came out and went, Mrs. Clarke. And my mum thought, oh no, what has she done? What trouble, what mischief has she been up to? And the teacher said, do you know your daughter can sing? And my mum said, well, I always thought she could. So it kind of started from there. And then from ages 7 or 8, I started doing charity concerts for the British Heart Foundation and lots of other different charities. And then it's just come from there. Then I did my degree at Trinity Larbin, which is a music conservatoire in London. I did musical theatre. And then now I'm doing my master's at the Royal Northern College of Music.
Amazing. And but do you come from a musical family? Did your parents play instruments and
No, not at all. They love music. I mean, my mum was a DJ in the 70s and 80s, so very into her music.
Okay. Yeah.
But she none of them, no, not musical at all, but very supportive.
Amazing. And so lovely that there was a teacher that's that spotted you and that sort of told your parents about that, although they knew, but it's always nice to hear if somebody else can see the talent.
Definitely. And I'd always trained classically. I had a wonderful teacher in Liverpool called Rani Seniviratna. I trained classically. My degree was musical theatre, but more legit musical theatre. So Bernstein, Rodgers and Hammerstein. And then now my master's is in classical singing and opera. So definitely kept within that world.
Yeah. And lovely that you mentioned your teacher, because I just spoke to a violinist a few days before, and we talked about this teacher, the teacher who installed this love for music and just love for the violin for her. And it's always lovely to hear that, when people talk about their teachers.
Yeah, I think your teachers can be one of your biggest inspirations. He was always such a stickler for the small details, the lesser consonants, the words, and she introduced me to so many wonderful pieces.
Mm-hmm. So now, at what age did you think of having a career as a singer, or did it just evolve, that it just came naturally?
I think it just evolved. I've never wanted to do anything else. I really loved school. I loved academic work. Loved all my lessons. So it wasn't because I wasn't into anything else. I really enjoyed that too. But I think that's just, not to be cliche, but I feel like that's what I was just born to do. And I've never wanted to do anything else. I've always just done concerts, shows, and yeah, I've just never changed.
So from a young age, you were comfortable on stage?
Yeah. I used to be a lot more nervous when I was younger. And I remember my mum saying to me when I was about 13, if you really want to take this seriously, you need to think about confidence. And then when we had that chat, it kind of just flipped switch. And I thought, no, this is what I want to do. So got to be confident.
Yeah, because it is important, this confidence on stage, because you have to connect with your audience.
Definitely.
And I assume if you do it from a young age, that becomes easier.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, if you're in a show and you're playing a character, that's slightly different. But if you're doing a concert and you need to talk with the audience and interact, which is something I do quite a lot, I do a lot of concerts, you just got to be a good talker and be good at talking with people and let the audience see that you are just a normal person like them and you want them to be included in the performance.
Yeah, I think that is so important, because sometimes that it feels as if somebody on the stage, especially like you say, concerts, that there's almost a little barrier, between the audience and the performer, because they don't interact with the audience. So, and you enjoy talking about what you're doing, what you're singing while you're on the stage?
Yes, I think it's very important, especially when I'm singing in different languages. I sing a lot in Spanish, German, all sorts of different languages. And I think it is important to talk about what the song's about, or even if it's just very, very brief. Also, I work a lot with a classical guitarist called Ravi Nathwani. We were in a duo called Cantilena.
Oh, I saw. I wanted to ask you about that as well. Yeah.
And so sometimes when we're doing concerts, Ravi has to retune the strings for different keys. So I'll talk to the audience about that and how it works, and they find it quite interesting, because some people already know and some people don't. So it's nice, bit of information.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it when singers or performers do that, because and it's also sometimes, if you don't know the music or you don't know of the composer, then it's always lovely to hear a little bit about the background of the music. It just makes it a different experience for the audience then as well.
Yeah.
But now I want to ask you about the musical theater music and classical singing. So do you sing differently? Is there a different style of singing when you do that?
I think I always think about using one voice and that my voice can adapt to different styles and genres. I always think with any piece that the words are so important, whether it be musical theatre or classical, so they are a real main focus for me. I think one of the main differences is in musical theatre we can use a lot more speech quality. We've talked more about long lines, legato, beautiful sound. Not always, like a lot of contemporary opera can be a little bit more leaning towards musical theatre, but a lot of opera companies now within their season will put on a musical, especially Sondheim or Bernstein or something along that kind of style. So I think there are differences, but I always try to think of it as one voice and that the voice can adapt.
So initially, because you said your initial training was in musical theatre.
Yes, yeah, it was.
Okay. And why specifically musical theatre? What was why did you make that choice and not start singing classically immediately?
So my singing teacher did classical with me, so my singing training was classical, but I'd always done dance and acting classes as well. So I went to a local school called Proctor Dance Academy in Liverpool, where I'm from, with the wonderful Miss Lorna. And I also had acting classes at LIPA, which is the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts. So that's a school owned by Paul McCartney. And I'd always loved that as well. And a lot of musical theatre is very classical in style. So I went with that for my degree, always with the idea to do a master's in classical singing and opera at a bit of a later age.
Mm-hmm. And now, in musical theatre, do you have preferences? Are they, because you talked about at the beginning of the interview, you talked about the different music that you're singing at the moment, but are these the types of songs that you love singing?
In terms of musical theatre, I'd say the legit, so mainly pre-1965 or Sondheim are my favourite. So in the summer, I was in a production of Into the Woods. I was playing the witch. And I think some of that music is just fantastic. It's so clever. The words are very, very clever. But for musical theatre, definitely your Oklahoma, Carousel, that kind of, yeah. But in overall, I'm a really big fan of art song, German lieder, Spanish art song, English art song. So I'm really, really into that. I love opera as well, but I love to perform art song. I think it's beautiful.
And art song is also performed in a concert style. So this is then when you have this wonderful chance of connecting with your audience this way. I think it's always very intimate, the art song.
Yes, definitely, especially when I work with my guitarist, Ravi, because the guitar is such a sensitive instrument. It makes an even more intimate experience.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, because also I spoke to a duo that's piano and guitar, classical guitar, and they were talking about this, where you say the guitar is a sensitive instrument, and they were talking about how the pianist had to really tone down the piano to make the guitar feature as well. And with singing, probably you have to do that the same thing. Do you have to also take that into consideration?
Yes, I'm very used to it now. It's just, especially when the voice goes higher, or like the most, how do I say, the biggest part of your voice, you've just got to be careful you don't overpower the guitar. The guitar does have strength and volume, but it also can be very quiet and very sensitive. And we talk about, myself and Ravi, the dynamic piano, so quiet, or pianissimo, very quiet. And my pianissimo will be different to Ravi's pianissimo. His will need to be louder than what mine is. So we have to kind of just work it out on our own personal levels to then put it together.
So do you, is it for you interesting to learn about how he plays the guitar, and that he needs to understand what you are doing? So in this duo, do you think you learn from each other this way?
Definitely, yeah. It's very interesting, because one thing I didn't consider, obviously, I'm not a pianist either. A pianist has lots of fluidity up and down. With a guitar, they have got to move the full hand, and they also sometimes are playing two parts at once, but they only have one hand to do so, whereas a piano, you have the two hands. So sometimes I have to take into consideration where Ravi might need a bit more space or a bit more time just for the hand movements, and vice versa. He's learnt where I need more space for breath or for certain words.
Amazing, yeah. This is it's wonderful that you have this collaboration, and that you can learn from each other. But now tell me, do you sing also other genres?
Yes. So, do you mean in terms of classical or?
Yeah. So do you sing like jazz and pop and that sort of thing as well?
So, classical crossover, so which is a classical singer doing more jazz things and pop things. So I do a lot of, well, it kind of ties in nicely to the musical theatre, like the Judy Garland kind of music from the 40s and 50s. That ties quite nicely in. Trying to think, Meet Me in St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
I think A Star is Born, but the 1954 version. And then myself and Ravi, we do a lot of voice and classical guitar arrangements of pop songs. So like And So It Goes by Billy Joel. And we've just done a few new recordings for Spotify for Christmas as well of some very famous Christmas pop songs.
Oh, Sophie, I'm going to download that because you really do all the things that I love. That's absolutely 100% the music that I love. So yeah, I saw also on your Instagram page. This is what really also what I wanted to talk to you about, because I saw you have a CD.
Yes.
And yeah, when did you release the CD?
So the CD came out this year in March. It's called Then Sings My Soul, and it's a collection of some of my favourite hymns and religious songs.
Beautiful. Oh, that's wonderful. So now, what is the wishes for you for the future now? What do you still want to do?
I think so. At the minute, I'm in an opera as well at the Royal Northern College of Music. I'm in The Snow Maiden, playing the character of Liel, which is a fun young 15-year-old boy. So as a mezzo, we get to play a lot of trouser roles. So
I
think one of my main aims for the future is this is my first full opera role, is to continue this, to get more roles, and to continue building my concert portfolio and to just travel all around the world.
So, and mainly in opera, do you want to sing now, or do you still want to do musical theatre?
I'd still love to be able to have that musical theatre element. And as I mentioned, a lot of opera companies are starting to add a musical theatre show or production to their season. But I still really do love art song and oratorio, and I think it's good to be flexible and to be open. And I just think it's very exciting that there are lots of different options for us out there as.
And is there a language that you love to sing in? Is there a preferred language?
English for sure, but I absolutely love singing in Spanish. I sing for the Instituto Cervantes, which is the Spanish Institute in Manchester. Sing for their National Day of Spain event and other events for them. And it's just such a beautiful language to sing in.
Really? And do you speak Spanish?
I'm learning at the Institute. They're very kindly organised classes for me. So as well as singing to their audiences in Spanish, I now talk a little bit in Spanish too.
Wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. But and tell me, do you teach as well?
I teach a couple of music GCSE students, so they're age about 13, 14, just two lovely girls. I would love to be able to have a few more students, but with performances, it doesn't really fit in at the moment. But it's lovely to see them developing and growing.
Absolutely. And this, because you also had this wonderful opportunity with a teacher that believed in you. So it must be. And do you also feel, because many musicians also say that they learn so much through teaching themselves?
Yeah, definitely. And it's my teacher at Music Conservatoire now, Royal Northern, she has a teacher, and it's like everything's passed along the line, and you do learn from your students, because I'll watch them and think, oh, I used to do that. I know what my teacher means now.
Oh, I see.
Students, yeah.
Yeah. And it's sort of, somebody said to me, it's the way sometimes they don't understand, and you have to really think about how to explain it. And through that explanation, then you also get something for yourself.
Definitely. And every student's different. So the way you explain a certain thing to one student, you'll have to explain it differently to another.
But now, Sophie, tell me, what would be one advice that you would give a young aspiring singer?
I think believe in yourself and stay calm and enjoy what you're doing. Work hard, because things aren't handed to us. You have got to really work hard, and when you do, you will see results. And you just enjoy it. It's a fun career. It's a hard-working career, but it's fun.
And I assume also people that don't realize that, or young people don't realize that it takes time, and that you have to be patient to get where you want to go. Yeah.
Every year, my concerts go more further afield, more prestigious, in bigger venues, and it does just take time. But it is it's a fun journey, and it is, I do think, to remember everyone along the way who's helped you as well.
Yeah, that's important. But Sophie, I wish you all the best, and hope that you come to Vienna one day. That would be so lovely.
That'd be lovely.
You have to let me know, because I would so love to see you in concert, and when you sing all these wonderful songs that I love so much.
Oh, definitely, I'd love to come. I'll have to get that sorted.
Yes, definitely, and let me know.
I will do.
I will put all the links of your website, and if there's anything else, let me know, and I'll put it in the description. And well, hope to meet you soon.
Definitely, that would be most wonderful. Thank you, Petra.
Thank you for your time, Sophie. Have a lovely day.
Thank you, you too. I'll see you soon.
Bye.